She was already on my porch when I arrived, waving her phone in the air like it was some kind of weapon. "Officer, hurry! This man broke into my house!" she shrieked, pointing at me like I was a wanted criminal. For a second I just stood there, my travel bag still in my hands. I'd come back a full week earlier than anyone expected, and the last thing I thought I'd see was a neighbor trying to claim my home. Then I noticed him, a teenage boy lounging against my front door as if it belonged to him, sipping a soda and wearing my t-shirt. My t-shirt! The sight made my stomach twist. "Excuse me," I said slowly, trying to process it. The kid just smirked. "Don't worry, Mom, I'll handle this guy," he laughed, his voice dripping with arrogance. Behind him, I could see inside through the half-open door, blankets thrown on my couch, pizza boxes scattered across my coffee table, my remote tossed on the floor. My home didn't look like my home anymore. It looked like their hangout spot. Karen, of course, puffed up like a queen defending her castle. She stepped closer, her sunglasses sliding down just enough for me to see the smug fire in her eyes. "You abandoned this property. My son needed a place. We're doing you a favor," she hissed. I clenched my jaw, my heart pounding in disbelief. "This is my house. I live here. Get out!" But Karen just smirked wider as sirens wailed in the distance. She had really called the cops. Gravel crunched as the squad car rolled up, lights flashing. Karen straightened like royalty awaiting her guard. "Officers!" "That's him. Arrest this trespasser immediately," she barked. One officer looked at her, then at me, confusion spreading across his face. "Ma'am, are you saying this is your house?" "Yes," she snapped, pointing her finger in my face. "We have HOA authority here. He abandoned it. My son is the rightful tenant now." It was so insane I nearly laughed. But instead I set my bag down slowly and kept my voice even. "Before you put those cuffs on, maybe check the deed. My name's on it. Always has been." Karen's eyes narrowed like daggers. "He's lying!" "Don't listen to him. He doesn't belong here." The younger cop shifted uncomfortably, but the older one, a seasoned officer, studied me carefully. "You got proof?" he asked. Without hesitation, I reached into my backpack. I always traveled prepared. I unfolded the document and held it out steady. "This is my land, my house. My name is right there." Karen's lip curled. "Paperwork can be faked. Don't be fooled. This man is dangerous." Her voice was sharp, almost desperate now. For a moment I could see doubt in the younger cop's eyes as he stepped forward, hands twitching near the cuffs. My fist clenched, but I didn't move. Because Karen had no idea who she was messing with. She thought I was just a tired traveler with a bag. She didn't know that my wife was a senior officer in the same department these men worked for, and right on cue, another siren wailed. This one sounded different, stronger. Another cruiser pulled in fast, sliding to a stop right behind the first. The engine barely cut before the door flew open, and out stepped a woman in full uniform, badge gleaming under the porch light. Karen's confident grin faltered. "Wait, what?" she stammered, her voice cracking. My wife adjusted her cap, her eyes sharp and locked onto Karen. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice steady, commanding. Even the younger officer straightened at the sound, like a rookie facing his captain. Karen's desperation showed. She jabbed her finger at me again, shouting frantically, "That man broke into my property! Arrest him!" My wife's gaze flicked to me, then back to Karen, and she said calmly, "Funny, because I know for a fact this is my husband's property." The teenager froze mid-sip, soda spilling down his shirt. "Mom, what's happening?" he whispered, suddenly pale. Karen's face flushed bright red. "You can't just say that. You're only here because I called backup. This man's a squatter. Show rules!" "Stop!" My wife's voice cut through the night like a blade. "Impersonating HOA authority. Moving into someone else's house. Filing a false police report. Do you have any idea how serious these charges are?" The officers exchanged uneasy looks, realization dawning on their faces. Karen's shoulders stiffened, but her words stumbled now. "No, you don't understand. I was protecting the neighborhood." I folded my arms, staring at her son, who couldn't even meet my eyes anymore. The only sound was the faint lapping of the lake behind us. Karen had wanted me cuffed. Instead, It was clear she was the one heading for cuffs. "You can't do this to me." Karen's voice rose, almost hysterical now. "I'm on the HOA board." "I have rights." She clutched her son's arm like a lifeline, but he pulled away, embarrassed. The older cop finally shook his head. "Ma'am, HOA doesn't give you the right to see someone's house. That's trespassing." Karen's mouth opened, but before she could sputter another lie, my wife stepped forward, boots solid on the pavement. "Actually, it's more than trespassing. You filed a false police report. You moved into my husband's home. You impersonated legal authority." She pulled a body cam from her vest and clicked it on. "And now everything you've said is recorded." The soda slipped from the boy's hand, fizz spraying across the stone path. "Mom, you didn't say it was like illegal, he whispered. Karen whipped her head toward him. "Shut up!" But her voice cracked with panic. For the first time she looked small, weak. I couldn't help but let a thin smile spread. "You wanted me arrested, Karen. Now look who's in the spotlight." The younger officer cleared his throat nervously. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step aside." Her eyes darted wildly, searching for an escape. "No, you don't get it. If this gets out, I'll lose everything. The HOA will—" "Enough," my wife said firmly. "You don't make the law here." "Not anymore." Karen's bravado collapsed. Shoulders hunched, hands trembling, her son edging away from her. For the first time, she realized the game was over. But knowing Karen, I also knew one thing. She wasn't done. She still had another card hidden up her sleeve. Her fingers dug into her purse, yanking out a folded paper. Her voice shook, but her eyes blazed. "You think you've won? Look at this!" she screamed, waving the document in the air like it was her last weapon. She shoved the paper forward with shaking hands, her voice trembling, but loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is an official HOA eviction notice. It says right here he abandoned the property, which means by law, it's mine now." The younger cop squinted, tilting his head, clearly unsure. "Is that actually real?" Before he could even touch it, my wife snatched it from Karen's grip, unfolding it with steady hands. Her eyes scanned quickly, and then a slow, dangerous smile tugged at her lips. "Nice try, but this isn't an eviction notice." She flipped it over for everyone to see. "This is a free template you downloaded off the internet. You didn't even bother to remove the watermark." The older officer groaned, leaning closer. And there it was, bold in the bottom corner, sample form, not for legal use. Karen's son let out a horrified whisper. "Oh my God. Mum?" Karen's face drained pale, but her voice snapped back sharp and desperate. "It doesn't matter. The neighbors are on my side. They don't want him here. None of us want strangers ruining our community." Her words hit harder than she probably intended. She wasn't just claiming property. She was spitting on who I was. My blood burned hot, but I bit it back, letting my wife take the lead. She stepped forward, her voice steady, slicing through the air like a blade. "Strangers? You mean the man who owns this land? The man who served this country, while you sat on a committee, telling people what color to paint their mailbox?" The younger officer's eyes snapped to me with a new respect. "Sir, military?" I gave a single nod. "Retired. I bled for this flag so people like her couldn't steal what doesn't belong to them." That line changed everything. The tension in the air shifted. Karen's power, what little illusion she had left, shattered into something small, pitiful. But she wasn't done. I could see it in her eyes, her face twisted with fury, and suddenly she lunged. Her hands shot out, yanking the body cam straight off my wife's vest. "This never happened," she screamed, hurling it toward the ground. Gasps erupted all around. The younger officer barked, "Ma'am, that's destruction of police evidence." But the cam bounced once, twice, and didn't break. My wife calmly bent down, picked it up, brushed it off, and clipped it back on like nothing happened. Her eyes locked on Karen's with ice. "That," she said flatly, "was your last mistake." Karen's son backed away, shaking his head. "Mom, stop, please. You're only making it worse." But she wasn't listening. Her eyes darted wildly between me, the cops, and her boy. "You'll regret this. I'll sue you all. I'll drag this entire neighborhood through the courts." I finally stepped forward, voice low but cutting. Go ahead. File your lawsuits. But before you do, maybe check your HOA account balance. She blinked, thrown off. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, swiped once, and held the screen up for all of them to see. Turns out, while you were squatting in my house, you weren't even paying your own HOA dues. The board sent me the arrears notice by mistake. The overdue balance glared back at her in bold letters, right under her name. Her son's jaw dropped. Mum, you didn't pay? Karen staggered back, like the ground had just given way beneath her. For once, she had no retort. Just silence. The older officer motioned to his partner. That's enough. Then you're coming with us. The snap of handcuffs was like justice echoing across the whole block. But it wasn't over yet. Because, as they tried to lead her toward the cruiser, her son froze. He didn't follow. He just stood there, eyes locked on me, trembling. And then he spoke. Wait. His voice cracked, but it carried. I'm not going with her. Every head turned. Karen spun around, wide-eyed. What did you just say? His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard, but his voice steadied. I can't do this anymore. You dragged me into this mess. You told me we had the right to stay here. You lied to me, to everyone. Her face flushed red, her voice trembling. I did this for you, so you'd have a place, so you wouldn't. No. He cut her off, louder now, his voice raw but true. You did this for yourself. You never cared about me. You just wanted control. The yard went silent. Even the officers shifted uncomfortably at the honesty spilling out of him. My wife studied him carefully. Son, is there something you'd like to tell us? His shoulders slumped. Yeah, I didn't want to be here. Mom forced me. She said no one would ever find out. He looked at me, guilt heavy in his eyes. I'm sorry for what she did to your house. I knew it wasn't right. Karen lunged toward him, shrieking, Don't you dare turn on me. I'm your mother. But the officers held her tight. The boy backed away, voice firm despite the fear in his eyes. Not today. I'm done being your excuse. I stared at him, surprised. There was fear in him, yes, but also something else. Relief. For the first time, it wasn't just me and my wife against Karen. Her own son had broken free. As the cops pushed her into the cruiser, Karen spat her final venom. This isn't over. I'll get out, and when I do, you'll regret crossing me. I held her gaze, my voice steady, cold. Karen, the only one with regrets here, is you. The cruiser door slammed, muffling her screams as it rolled away. The street suddenly felt lighter, quieter, but the damage remained. My house was still a wreck. Pizza boxes, overturned furniture, the stench of someone else's life lingering inside. And yet, as I stood there, her son shifted awkwardly on the driveway. He kicked at the gravel, then looked up at me. I know I don't deserve it, but thank you. Thank you for not letting her get away with it. She's been like this my whole life. I studied him for a long moment. He wasn't innocent, but he wasn't the villain either. Just a kid, dragged too far into his mother's madness. You've got a chance to be different, I said quietly. Don't waste it. His eyes glossed over and he nodded before turning and walking down the street alone. For the first time, he wasn't hiding behind her shadow. My wife slipped her arm through mine, her voice softer now. You all right? I glanced at the wreck inside, then at her badge shining in the fading sun. And finally, I let out a long breath. Yeah, because no fake notice, no power-tripping Karen, no HOA scam can take our home from us. She squeezed my hand, smiling. Damn right. And as the lake glowed gold under the setting sun, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a battle with an HOA Karen. This was about standing your ground, fighting for what's yours, and proving that sometimes, when the wrong person pushes too far, justice has a way of slamming the door right back in their face.